Shalom. Call Halam La Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Haracha'a Kodash for giving me the spirit to do this video. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and sincerity. They steered us well and they rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. May the blessing of election be upon your house. This is the brother Zion Amawan coming at you with another lesson to feed the lambs through the Holy Spirit. Haracha'a Kodash, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and to the point. All right, in this lesson, we're going to get into palm technology and micro C-hip hands could become an obsession. You hear that? Palm technology, all right? That's like biometric scanning, all right? Where you gotta basically use a fingerprint to clock in, to go into doors, all right? Matter of fact, you got this Amazon. They got a grocery store where you can literally just tap your phone or just walk in and buy stuff, walk out, and everything's paid for. You can hover your hand over this palm thing, you know, and then it automatically will pay, you know. So this is going to lead to the actual C-hip. Like, they've been C-hipping since the 80s. They've been C-hipping. It's not mandatory yet, you know. Once the C-hip becomes mandatory, that's how you know Yahweh Shai is literally, he can come tomorrow. You know, if they implement the C-hip as mandatory, Yahweh Shai start counting down them Sabbaths. Start counting down them Sabbaths. Because he on the way. He on the way right now. But he going to be on the way, if you know what I mean. You know how Jake always say the same word twice? But anyway, it say, palm technology and micro C-hip hands could become an obsession. New age palm technology and micro C-hip hands are the growing wave of the future, but so are age-old biblical prophecies of the mark of the beast. You hear that? So who on the earth have been preaching, teaching, prophesying about the mark of the beast and linking it to the micro C-hip? Who been doing that? From Elder Abba Bivens all the way down to Elder Apostle Tahar, all the way on down through the Elder Apostles, all the way down through us. Great Millstone. Because you got Israelite camps, they talking the C-hip as being a spiritual thing. They saying that the mark of the beast is something spiritual. Sons of Thunder said that the right hand is the action behind sinning or something. Like, it's just stupid. Just confusion. IUIC, they jump in the fence. They don't know what side they want to be on. Once the mandatory C-hip starts to get more in the news and on your phone and on TikTok and on Facebook and on Instagram and on all these social media platforms, when it start to get on the news and all that type of stuff, IUIC gonna say that we been taught it, we been did it, we been did. No, they didn't. It was from Elder Abba Bivens through Elder Apostle Tahar through the Elder Apostles all the way down through us, man. Great Millstone. All right. The true house of David. If you really want to get technical, you know. See, a lot of these other camps is paid off. That's why they teaching the nation wrong. They got a lot of blood on their hands. Who knows? Whoever wrote this, they could be watching the videos. Who knows? Whoever wrote this. You know, Dr. Barbara Reynolds. You know, she a Jake Eve, I think, through the spirit. But she might be watching the videos. You will never know who watching. You don't know. She could have stumbled across your video. I don't know. She could have stumbled across the Elder Apostles videos. You already know she did that. Anytime you writing this. New age palm technology and micro C-hip hands are the growing wave of the future, but so are the age-old biblical prophecies of the mark of the beast. Burgundy Waller, recently known as the C-hip girl, in her TikTok videos has recently created a social media stir of 3 million followers by demonstrating Salakia, how a micro C-hip about the size of a grain of rice implanted in her hand serves as a key to unlocking doors, closets, and storage areas in her Las Vegas mansion. While C-hip hands might sound new, between 50,000 to 100,000 people globally are using implanted micro C-hip as credit cards or to store their medical and health information. Grapho. We gonna get it. Matter of fact, because I gotta read this article. I'm just gonna run through the article real fast, and we gotta go to Revelation 13:16. All right, this guy, man, look. To gain access to gems, use public transportation, says the Journal of Hand Surgery. Furthermore, in 1998, a British scientist, Kevin Warwick, Captain Cyborg, made headlines using a hand-implanted micro C-hip to operate doors, lights, and heaters around his office at the University of Reading. For consumers looking for a non-surgical way free themselves of the hardship of reaching in their wallets for plastic or tapping their phones on scanners. Amazon is also rolling out a plan which allows customers to simply hover their palms over an Amazon One device to pay their bills. On May 24th, 2024, Amazon and its company owned Whole Foods introduced palm technology that can be used for payments in over 500 stores. Amazon uses customers' palms and their underlying vein structure to create a palm signature, which is produced with the help of generative AI and verified by Amazon One scanners for things like retail purchases and age verification. Now, I'm going to read another paragraph, and then after that, we're going to get into some scriptures. Along with the excitement over the hand developments, however, are the age-old prophecies about a controversial mark of the beast. The mark of the beast refers to the biblical references that during the last days of history, a mysterious, autocratic, and diabolical Antichrist leader would rise to rule over an empire where Christians who do not bear his mark on their hands would perish because they would be denied life-sustaining goods such as food or medicines. Right, you'll be ostracized out of society. They already said that if you don't get the C-hip, you're going to be ostracized out of society. Like I always use this example, like basically you're going to be like them niggas on Demolition Man. The people coming up out of the streets stealing Taco Bell and going right back down. You know, everybody that was on the top of the street, they living comfortable, stress-free, like some lames, not even knowing they finna die. You know, You're going to be having a lot of Jakes eating, drinking, giving into marriage, trying to go back to normalcy, just like how they did with the C-19. When the Crown Vic happened, and that lockdown and they finally opened the world back up, everybody like, what to do? They acted like some animals that been in a cage all day, and this they first time seeing nature, man. Matter of fact, let's just get some scriptures. Let's just get some scriptures. I got Revelation 13:16, the classic. All right. And I'm going to show you the difference because I'm going to prove that there's two marks. You have to know what mark you talking about. You got a spiritual mark and you have a physical mark. Okay, there's a difference. You better know your marks. That's what I might name this lesson. You better know your marks. Because you got a spiritual mark and you got a physical mark. The spiritual mark is the mark of Tawa, which means the exemption from judgment. That's like you being in the shadow of the Almighty. That's like you having that Psalms 91:1 hovering you. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You are in the shadows of the Almighty. And you have a physical mark, which we about to read, which is the MOTB, the mark of the beast. We got Revelation 13:16, and he causeth all. Now let's go to causeth. Let's just get that right quick.
Strong's G 4160. Poieo. Poieo.
Which means with the names of things made, to produce, construct, form, fashion, to be the authors of the cause. So what do that mean? He gonna have laws. He gonna have legislation. Don't somebody write them laws? Ain't they an author? They writing, right? So they gonna have laws, legislations, penal codes, section 1A and all that type of shit. 35-B-4A-759. You must have the CHIP or otherwise. They gonna have all that. It's gonna be so many laws that they're gonna be creating, like them little white kids. New rule. Like new rule. That's why I never liked playing with white kids growing up. Because they always had a new rule, man. To benefit their non-talent and to benefit their skill level. So they create a rule to benefit them. So they're going to be doing that with the CHIP. But in actuality, Esau Edom, which is the self-proclaimed white man, starting with these small hats, these elites, which is the Rothschilds, DuPonts, Firestones, them guys, the Bilderbergs, even Bill Gates now. He like they cousin type stuff. They are trying to officially own you. They are trying to officially own you. Like, not just you, but the nation of Israel, including you and me. They already own the land to a degree because they ruling. So they took the land. They own the land. Now they really want to own the true people. They know they Esau. They know their time is short. They know all of that. They know that, man. That's why he acting like a side bitch playing games. Because he already know what time it is. He already know he can't let up. If you put the pedal to the metal, you can't let up. You got to keep pushing. And he know that. And the Lord gonna put a heavy spirit on him to put the pedal to the metal and keep it there until he run out of gas. You know? Straight up. Now, it's to make ready, to prepare. And that's what they've been doing. You think they ain't already talking about them laws on how they gonna go ahead and roll it out? No, they been did that. You just don't know about it yet. It just ain't on the books yet. They are literally waiting for the perfect crisis. And with this whole WW3 shit going on, and basically Diaper Don is trying to take over all of these places, man. Diaper Don is on a rampage, man. He's on a rampage, man. While all his enemies covering up their nose. But anyway, to produce, bear, shoot forth, to acquire, to provide a thing for oneself. Yeah, they're going to provide those legislations for you. Because you got to keep in mind, once they declare martial law, they can issue in the C-hit right then and there too. They got a bunch of executive orders that automatically get enacted the moment martial law in a state of emergency get declared. See, a lot of people don't even realize how much power Diaper Don really do have. That is a secret and nobody knows about. This nigga can say a state of emergency in any given moment that he want to. Even though the majority of his power is in fact forfeited through President Nixon. Sign the president's rights away, but you can still operate under the scenes. That's what Diaper Don doing. Operating up under the scene. He can do a lot of shit that you don't know about, that I don't know about. But one thing I do know, he can do a state of emergency at any given moment. And you got to look at this too. The same owner that owns, I am not going to say his name. You got to do your research on him. But the same guy that owns the Twin Towers owns the U.S. Bank Tower in Cali. If anything happened, it's going to be that building. Because when the Twin Towers, because that same guy bought the Twin Towers like 3 weeks before they fell anyway. And all of a sudden, $9 trillion disappeared in the space of space. And this is the same guy that owns the U.S. Bank building. Something gonna happen. It might be that. I don't know. We will see. But it's quite ironic, right? And I can see it happening too. Because look at the pattern. It's a pattern. We was going into that in my other lesson a few lessons ago about a pattern. A person can do a certain thing. If you do it 3 or 4 times, you create a pattern. Esau created a pattern. That's what a sloppy fugitive will do. Create a pattern. They're not calculated like that. Esau really sloppy as hell because he really don't give a fuck. When you got everything and you got the power, you don't give a fuck. That's why Esau gonna hit the kill switch, man. It's a constitute or appoint one anything to appoint or ordain one that to declare one anything. You hear that? It's going to be in the spirit of Nebuchadnezzar. The sea hip going to be presented to you. And you going to have to make a choice. Just like Nebuchadnezzar, when he set up the golden statue and you had to bow down to it and all that, you had people that did and you had people that didn't. The ones that did, they had temporary perks that was temporal. And then the ones that didn't, they got put to death. But if you got Yahweh Shai with you, you ain't gonna get no singe on your clothes. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying. This was written aforetime for what? Our learning. All right. So A, B, C, D, a pattern, right? A pattern. You know, Yahweh Shai got a pattern of delivering brothers and sisters out of situations. If you believe and have faith and you fear, see, you got to have a pattern with Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, but let's go back. It say, and he causeth all. So there are going to be laws, legislations, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, everybody. From the niggas in jail all the way up to Floyd Mayweather and them, you know, all of them. The poor, the rich. You know the rich people gonna get it. Like all them Bandman, Kevo niggas and all that. You know they get scared. You know that. That's just off the back. All them celebrities and sellout niggas, you know they getting it. You think LeBron wanna go back to eating oodles and noodles? You out your goddamn mind. He gonna be the first nigga in line. Otherwise, they gonna kill his ass. Cause he too juiced in with these niggas. To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, without going into the blue letter, this sound like a physical mark. This don't sound spiritual. Or maybe it's because we have the right leaders and these niggas is just spiritually blind. Because you really don't have to go in the blue letter reading Revelation 13:16. This sounds like a physical mark. This don't sound spiritual at all. Even how it's worded. Listen to it. And he causeth all. In the blue letter, Salaki, in the NLT, it say he required everyone. You see? That don't sound spiritual. That sound like I'm finna make your ass do something. Otherwise, this gonna happen. That's what it sound like. It sound like get down, lay down. It sound like it, right? Because that's what it's talking about. This is get down, lay down. Straight up. If you don't do this, this gonna happen to you. It sound like he presenting it. Required. You gonna go up to it, yay or nay. That's why the scriptures say, let your yay be yay or your nay be nay. You know, you can't be up there talking about some, no, I ain't gonna say, no, man, you do that Porky Pig shit, they gonna drop you right there where you stand, man. They're not gonna play with you. Let your yay be yay, your nay be nay, and you better say nay. You better say nay. Because if you say yay, see, they ain't going to do surgeries. See, these other camps, they think that, so you telling me it's going to be 9 billion surgeries? No, you fucking idiot. Do you know how small a grain of rice is, you dummy? It's going to be a motherfucking needle, that Palisade, some gauze, a Band-Aid, a C-hip, and a dummy sucker. Get the fuck out the building. You know them blood drive where you can get your blood taken and shit in front of Walmart and all that shit when there's a bus in front of there? It's going to be a C-hip tent at your local Walmart with a long ass line, and you better go in that bitch. You better, I'm telling you, because if you in that line, which you don't need to be in the line, but if you're in that line, you better go in there. Because they going to kill your ass anyway. So you need to stay away. And they going to have all type of incentives to bring Jake down there, and Jake going to come down there too. You just wait. Jake going to bring his ass down there. Because they got a box of food of canned Merc, powdered Merc. Jake gonna run his ass right down there. Trap. You got to get presented with the mark. Yay or nay? Nay. Put this nigga in this room. You get put in the room, you on a bus going to a fucking FEMA camp immediately. You just told your family you was about to go get some food and they ain't finna see you no more. That's gonna be the story of a lot of niggas' lives. For real. Nigga got finessed to go down there to the C-hip tent because them niggas is giving away this and that. He ended up got cold feet and ain't want to do it. And now this nigga on a bus going upstate to be scheduled to be put to death. And his family waiting on his ass too. 3 weeks went by and they still don't know where his ass at. To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? So you got, it don't matter. They're like, well, shit, I mean, if I get it in my left hand, then that means that I'm straight, right? No, it don't even matter. You can get the C-hip in your kneecap. If you got it, you got it. You gonna get boils and shit. You know? You gonna get that malignant sore, cancer, because 6G was made for the C-hip. See, if you understand data and API and all that type shit, you will understand that your radio, like your regular ass radio, like I'm talking about an old school radio that your grandmama would have, like a fucking 8-track or some shit. That's pushing off like 33,000 megahertz of radiation. That is not enough to fuck you up and make you sick and mess with your health or nothing like that. It's too low. We are currently in 5G, right? So G is going into gamma rays. So basically a gamma ray is like millions and billions and trillions of megahertz vibrating really, 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 really fast, going through your body. You understand? At a certain amount of time. So if you in 5G, them is quadrillions, septillions, octillions of radiation vibrating really, 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 really fast in the atmosphere throughout everything. It's towers everywhere. That's why if a person wore a smartwatch and they had that bitch on their arm too long, it'll put a burn mark on their hand because that's radiation burning. It been there too long. Or if you you've been talking on the phone with that bitch for too long, and then your phone been on your ear, now your ear hot, now I feel like it got burnt. That's radiation, man. You supposed to speak on speakerphone. You ain't supposed to have that phone close to your face. That phone supposed to be like 4-5 feet from your face, damn near by your belly button talking. Not all close. You got Jake all close to their ear and shit. You know? Nah, man. And you got Jake sleeping with the phone up under the pillow. You're an idiot. Stop sleeping with your phone up under your goddamn pillow. Are you trying to kill yourself? I mean, damn. I hope y'all ain't doing that. Shit. Put that phone on the floor or some shit. I don't even like it on the nightstand next to me. I have it on the table or something like that, or another room or some shit. You know? You don't want all that radiation near you while you fucking sleep. That's a spirit. Then on top of that, you really don't want your phone in your pocket. Because that right there sterilize you to where you can't even have no kids. All that radiation by your hip area and shit, where your loins at, man. You ain't supposed to have a phone on your hip. For real. Come on, man. Esau know what he doing, man. And Esau made our lives glued to this phone. So he gonna make your life glued to that C-hip, man. We are, he is, through gradualism and convenience, he is conditioning Jake. Now, we got this word charagma, right? Because you do got the Neuralink. People been getting the Neuralink, in they head. So that forehead going in the Neuralink too. You know what I'm saying? Because Neuralink is a part of that. You got people that's already got the Neuralink. These motherfuckers playing Call of Duty with their brain and shit. And this dude is a vegetable. Sitting in a fucking, like Stephen Hawkins type shit, like a vegetable. Can't even do shit. But this dude is firing up motherfuckers on Call of Duty with his brain. Like, and throughout time, you will turn into a Google search engine. You will be a biometric cyborg. But I got a charagma.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma.
Which is a stamp and imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. The mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculpture, graven work, idolatrous images. Strong's definitions: a scratch or etching stamp as a badge of servitude. You hear that? I know you hear that. Do this sound like it's a spiritual mark? This is a physical mark. A scratch, etching, stamp. You getting poked with that needle. That palisade. You getting poked with it. Right? As a badge of servitude. See, that's the top part right there. That trumps it all. Because if you take that, because you got to think about who the fuck ruling right now. Esau. This nigga got a power complex about himself. You gonna serve this cracker. That's how he cut. If he drops something on the ground, your black ass got to pick it up. That's what he on. And been on that. He was doing that. This nigga dropped something on the ground, we had to pick it up. And he'd do it purposely too. I picked 700 cotton. I picked 700 pounds of cotton, massa. Well, nigga, you should have picked 800. Like, damn. I met my quota, but you said I should have picked higher. He was never satisfied. He not satisfied with blood. That's why he want to own your soul. But he will never own our soul. But he think he gonna own your soul by you taking that C-hip. With that digital all. To mark you as his slave forever is what he tried to do. To where Yahweh Shema Shai ain't even gonna have a reason to come back. He tried to C-hip everybody because he know that if you get C-hip, you're cooked. Literally, like you're cooked. So he already know that. So if Esau know you gonna be cooked off taking the C-hip, Come on. Like, it's simple, man. Like, this is simple. Don't take it. Otherwise, you serving Esau. This nigga think he the most high. To the point where he painted himself as Yahushua. And the prophets. That's why the scriptures say he covered the faces of the judges thereof, man. As you can see. All right? So this is a physical mark. Now, oh damn, let's go back. Because I still got to go to the roots. Now we got the roots right here. Here's the other one.
Strong's G 5482. Charax. Charax.
All right. To sharpen to a point. You hear that? What the heck? Come on. This is common sense, man. See, like Jake be trying to act like we like they don't know what we talking about. Like, man, I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But you know about selling dope. You know about killing a nigga and shit. You know about being a complete demon. You know about doing that. But when it comes down to sharpen to a point, what the fuck is that talking about? A pencil? Come on, man. Like, is this talking about a ballpoint pen or some shit? What is this talking about? This is talking about a fucking needle. How many times do we have to say this? It's like I'm losing my mind right here, man. I'm sick and tired of these 2/3 niggas. These niggas got me sounding like a broken record. These niggas is retarded. These peasy scalp niggas. They are so gung-ho on following these other leaders blindly. Like all them guys that follow KD, and we all know who KD fat ass is. The same guy that been soaking ham in Coca-Cola for 17 days and all this other weird ass shit this nigga doing. And then eating it and on a day he called Yahushua Day with shrimps and, and all this other shit, man. And the mac and cheese. Fat ass nigga, man. That's why he on dialysis, man. Because of his diet and his lifestyle. It's fucked up. That's why the Lord judging his ass and he ain't did a lesson in a year. And all the videos he got up, not even lessons. It's him showing the spread. Fat ass nigga, man. Everybody that follow him gonna take the C-hip so they can get groceries. He teaching them how to be a fat slob. But anyway, a pail or a stake, a palisade or rampart, pails between which earth and stones, trees and timbers are heaped and packed together. All right. Now, that's how you mark territory. You ever seen a construction site where they want to go build a house on a lot that they just tore down? You will see a palisade there with some string wrapped on another palisade, wrapped all the way over here, it's boxed out. Like, this is the property where we gonna put it at. It's like you marking a territory. Like, yo, don't touch this area from here to here. That's mine. Like a spoiled ass little kid. Mine. That's mine. That's how Esau is with us, man. That's why he got a heavy spirit on not letting us go. You see what I'm saying? Real talk. A pail or stake, a palisade or rampart, pails between which the earth, stones, and trees and timbers are heaped and packed together. Strong's definition, through the idea of scratching a stake, by implication, a palisade or rampart. All right. So what's sharpened to a point? A pencil? It's talking about a needle. Because charagma Harigma was talking about what? A stamp imprinted mark. When you get popped with a needle and they take the needle out, don't you got a damn mark right there where the fucking needle was at? Can't you tell where the needle is? Gonna be a drop? It's gonna be a blood droplet. And if you were just a bleeder, which Esau hope you are, you gonna be bleeding a lot. You gonna have a fucking line of blood down your arm. Esau wants you to be a bleeder too. He like bleeders. He like when niggas bleed out. We do too. Feelings are mutual. Now here's that right here that that I mentioned in that article.
Strong's G 1125. Grapho.
To write with reference to the form of the letters, to delineate letters on a tablet, parchment paper, or other material. To write with reference to the contents of the writing. To express in written characters. To commit to writing things not to be forgotten. Write down, record. Are they talking about dropping a song? Or are they talking about storing your information? You see what I'm saying? Which one is it? It's storing your information. Medical records. Your birth certificate. Your social security number might be a wrap. Because your MOTB number is going to be your list of numbers that you're going to have. That's going to be your life. You're going to be identified like a number. Like how they did the small hats during the time of that little stuff over there. I'm not even finna say the word. You know what it is. Well, they had a number tattooed on their ass. Same shit. But it's going to be inside of you. And that barcode is attached to a number, like a prison number. If you ever been locked up, I've been locked up before, and there's a few other brothers. If you ever have been, you get identified like a number. You don't get called like your name and treat you like a human. The fuck? A number. And you gonna be identified with that number. You know how niggas got a PS5 or what they call it, a PSN account and all that shit. And then you got I don't even know the shit called, like a Xbox Live or whatever the fuck it is. You gonna have to put that MOTB number in or scan your hand or something. Or they may create some shit where you gotta scan your hand and to go in there or just type in the number or some shit, whatever. But you gotta have that registered number though. You gotta have that CHIP. Because if you ain't got the CHIP, you can't go to work. Where the fuck they gonna put your money at? Because believe me, they gonna make your ass work. You ain't gonna be sitting on your ass. Believe that. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit on my ass and let these robots do all my shit. No, you gonna be slaving with them motherfuckers. It ain't finna make it easy for your ass. The fuck? And if you do make it easy for your ass, you're gonna be in a damn confinements of a studio apartment type of shit. A hotel, if you ever stayed at an extended stay hotel, you better have your key on you at all times or you ain't getting in that damn building. So what is that? Your hand? You're going to be like the chip girl. Going into hotels and shit. But a lot of times you're going to be in a FEMA camp. With drones and hovering over you and stuff like that. You know? A complete police state society. 15-minute city type shit. You gotta get scanned out to leave your 15-minute city. That's how it's going to be. You got to get MOTB scanned out You got to get scanned in, scanned out. Watch that movie, what's that nigga name? Because I think he a Jake. Justin Timberlake. He did a movie called In Time, where everybody had 24 hours to live type shit. Like, it was fucked up. It was fucked up. Like, once you reach 25, your time go to 24 hours a day and they make you work and shit. And you get like 8 hours of your time. Like, that shit fucked up. And then a coffee was 3 minutes. By the time Justin Timberlake got up there, you know, he had to pay like 7 minutes. You know what I'm saying? For a coffee. He said, damn, man, it was just 3 minutes for the coffee for that guy. He said, it's inflation. I ain't got nothing to do about it. It's going to be just like that. Esau can put a random inflation and then just make you just extra broke. He finna have fun with these niggas, man, until the Lord zap his ass. I'm telling you. This is some scary stuff, man. This is literally life and death what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to like make fun of this shit. You gotta have fun with this truth. Otherwise you will get bored, man. So you gotta have fun with this truth. I'm not shining light on a life and death situation. This is some serious stuff what I'm talking about. This is you better make the right decision type lesson. Because I'm reading to you what this C-Hip is about, on what the Lord said it's about. Fuck me. This is about what the Lord said. This don't have nothing to do with me. I'm just bringing the message out. Like, yo, this is what Yahweh Shema Shah said. Make your decision. Point blank period. Move on. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, let's go back. So this is obviously physical. It's an imprinting mark. It's a badge of servitude. Okay. It's sharpened to a point, which is the needle. It's going to leave an imprinted stamp. It's an imprinted mark because you can identify where you got poked at. You're going to have a lot of people that's going to have gauze, Band-Aid, staring at their motherfucking hand, looking dumb as hell, sitting on the couch. You may come back from camp and then you go to the house or you may come in from the house or whatever. You just in the house now and you see a girl with that little gauze and Band-Aid on her hand, just looking at you. Some Jakes got to go through that. Like, what the fuck you went down there? We got to eat. I'm telling you. And you're going to have a 2/3 Jake Eve. Jamal, you got to do something. You hear Dada Man and Little Nosebleed in the back. They crying. He going to bring his dumb ass right down there too. Because Little Nosebleed and Little Stomach ache hungry. And them little nigga nuggets need to starve just like them 2 other niggas in there. But he gonna take his ass down there because the Lord gonna put the spirit on him to go down there. You don't want the Lord to seal in your instructions to go get C-Hip, man. So you need to make Yahweh Shema Shah a priority now before this happens. Because this prophecy hasn't happened yet. This is mandatory what I'm talking about. This ain't no at your leisure. It's been at your leisure for too fucking long. And these damn elites, they 90, they 4 heart transplants in. Look at the fucking people in the Senate and in the Congress and all that. Them niggas ain't leaving the Senate and Congress because they love that power. They 90 years old. There was another Senate lady. She died at her fucking desk. She was like 90 years old. She just died. I forgot her name though, but she in the Senate. She just died. 90 years old. At her desk. Working. These Edomites is power hungry. So hell yeah, man. They trying to push this. Now we got verse 17. That no man might buy or sell. You see, they talking about business owners. I can hear that right now, man. I hate these niggas, man. Always try to find a loophole in some shit. You know what I'm saying? You see, it say that no man might buy or sell. I work a regular job. Man, I'm trying to tell you, man. They be saying all that shit. Even if you have a job. Because ain't you selling yourself to a job? Anytime you talking about a wage, ain't you selling yourself and your time for a little bit of money? So this just ain't talking about niggas with a corner store, man. If you have a regular job, you have to get a C-HIP. Where is they gonna send the fucking stuff to? They already got ADP and what else they got? They got a whole bunch of Paycor and all these other systems for direct deposit. There's a lot of places where you gotta have a real fucking bank account. They don't even deal with Cash App and all that shit no more, for real. Because people say, well, they can dispute this and that. Like, no, it ain't that. They want you to be a part of the big system. They need everybody online in the same area. You know? And he caused of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Now, let's go to Revelation 14 right quick. Because we got to go on all angles, because it's like, you got to know how Yahweh Shema Shah feel about this. Okay, we already brought out in its full entirety what the physical mark is. Even though we still going to go into a little bit of the, the mark of Tawaf, which is a mark. But it's the mark of exemption of judgment, though. You better know your marks. Revelation 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, you hear that? And receive a mark in his forehead or in his hand. It don't matter what hand. And you're going to be presented with this. Where you want this thing at? You want it in your right hand, left hand, shoulder, where, down. Let you say yay. They're going to be like, okay, great. Okay, yeah, great. Okay, where you want it at? Okay, you want it in your hand? Where? Your arm? Your kneecap? Where? Yeah, okay. It don't matter where you had that mug, man. If you got it, you got it. Malignant sores is on your way. It's going to be a lot of stage 4 niggas walking around this motherfucker. And then they going to have a distinguishing mark, because you can actually tell who the fuck got it. These niggas going to be looking crazy. I promise you. These niggas going to have boils and be looking crazy. You're going to obviously tell who the fuck took the mark. You're going to know. Off the back, you're going to know. You can be like, damn, he look bad. I'm telling you. For real. You going to see that too. And then everybody that take the mark, they going to have a certain spirit on them. They going to have a certain spirit about themselves. You like, man, you off. You know, they don't have that. You know, like the most Coon and Jake, the most token boy type spirit. No, they gonna have that shit, man. They gonna look real docile. You like, nigga, you look like you supposed to have the mark. You know? But anyway, verse 10, it say, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shai. You hear that? The same. So if you take it, those same Negroes that took it gonna feel the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shai's anger. It is a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living power. That's a man you don't want to mess with. In no way, shape, form, or fashion make them mad. Yahweh Shema Shai is about that. They about that life, so to speak. You know how Jake be saying about that life? Yahweh Shema Shai is really about that life, though. They don't give a fuck. They'll kill your ass and make 10 that's better than you, and they got a better spirit, and they'll do the work 10 times more. He'll raise up a rock. He don't even need us to teach. Like, it's nothing. Like, why would you want to test something like that? Are you fucking crazy? They called Yahweh Shema Shai Al-Asijah. That means demonic-like power. Demon, demonic-like power. Because what Yahweh Shema Shai was doing to those niggas. Yahweh Shema Shai was fucking up, you know what I'm saying, the Egyptians, man. He was fucking up the Philistines too. He gave them emeralds where it's basically like they whole asshole is inside out with the insides hanging out. Baboon ass. A whole nation like that. The Lord, man, he's the destroyer of the Gentiles. Keep on. Keep on. But whoever get this, he gonna melt their ass. The scriptures keep talking about it, man. The day is gonna burn like an oven. See, an oven is a process. It's a process to an oven. You know, you got preheat and you gotta let it heat up. And once it's ready, you put the pan in and you slow cook. That's how Yahweh Shema Shai finna do these niggas. 500-degree broil. Burn their ass. They finna be the little chicken tender that fell off the pan and it's in the bottom of the oven and you ain't pick it up. And then you finally get it and it's black and it just crumble in your fucking hand. That's gonna be these niggas that take that C-hip. For real. I'm so serious. Which is poured out without mixture. He gonna give you straight no chaser. You ever drunk some liquor that just talk back, that just bite back? That's how he gonna do that missile on your ass if you take that C-hip. You getting straight no chaser. To the head. Like a drunkie. Through. You gonna be through. Into a cup of his indignation, which is righteous anger. You choosing that Edomite over me? He gonna burn your ass. I can see flames in Yahweh Shema Shai's eyeballs. They gonna be so mad at niggas that do that. I made you. These are some Pinocchio ass niggas. Pinocchio was mad at Geppetto because he wanted to be a real boy. I'm just saying, Geppetto was hurt. You know, he made Pinocchio, and Pinocchio ain't satisfied. Pinocchio talking shit. Pinocchio murmuring for real. That's Jake. Pinocchio ass niggas, man. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone. ICBM missiles. Salakia. In the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, Yahweh Shai. So Yahweh Shema Shai gonna get first class front row tickets. You know what I'm saying? Watching your ass burn if you take that C-hip. That's why you got to make Yahweh Shema Shai a priority now. So where he can make you a priority later and not put the spirit on you to take that. Because everything gonna start with a thought. The enticement of sin caused by outward circumstances. That's temptation. You know? So Jake gonna be thinking about their everyday life on what the fuck they need to be doing versus what they ain't doing. And they gonna fuck around and gonna have to make a conscious decision. But that conscious decision better be the right one. And this is like an open book test. That's how cold Yahweh Shema Shai is. They give you an open book test. Like, you get the right leaders, they teach you, and this is an open book test. Just pay the fuck attention. Now, we about to close out. This is where Sons of Thunder like to go to. All right. With this Ezekiel 9:4. If somebody approached them, in a lot of these camps, but I'm just going to poke at them. Because I seen Yakar say this to a lady that came up to their camp one time. She was asking about the MOTB, which was a great, beautiful question. So let's see what you going to do. He brought out this, Ezekiel 9:4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. What do this have to do with anything? This don't have nothing to do with a physical mark. It's worded different. It's not even worded the same. If you know Yahweh Shai, he always mentioned Ezekiel, Isaiah, so he will quote what they would say. He will quote King David. He will quote Isaiah. He will quote, it'll word the same. This is just talking about something completely different. Now let's get the mark and see if it's charagma, right? Let's just see. Hold on, right here. And see, look, this is a Strong's H. The mark was Strong's G. So let's see what this Strong's H is.
Strong's H 8420. Tav.
Right. Which in the Paleo Hebrew is Tawa, which means mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. So if you don't take the mark, technically you got Tawa. Technically. If you don't take the MOTB and the Lord preserve you and beam you up, or you may have to lay your life down. I may have to lay my life down. See, that's something that we do got to keep in our, in the back of our mind. Like, we may have to lay our life down. We may have to get our head cut off. Who knows? But you got to have it in the back of your mind to where if it's presented, you ain't going to be tweaking. Now it say, and the Lord Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city. That's what the highways and hedges. That's what we do. Through the midst of Jerusalem is a people before a place. You see? And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. The true believers started with the prophets, all the way on down. There's order. Starting with the 144,000, starting with the prophets, and then the 1/3. All right. And saying, and to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. You hear that? So everybody but to die in this city. You take that C hit, you gonna be one of them niggas dying in that city. You got a missile with your name on it. Bullets ain't got names on them. Missiles do. All day, home skillet. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. You hear that? They mention women twice on there. Oh, Zion, hate women. Ak. I love women. I just hate wicked ones. You should hate wicked ones. What the fuck? Man, Jake, man, I swear. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. You see? So that Tawa is going into what? Exemption of judgment. Now in verse 6 it mentioned Mark again. So let's see if it's Charagma. Let's just see. Let's see if it's Tawa. There we go. Tawa.
Strong's H8420. Tav.
Complete difference. Same thing. It ain't no Strong's G5480. So, you know, the mark is a physical. Okay, you got a physical mark and you got a spiritual mark. Tawa is spiritual, what we are talking about, which is the exemption of judgment. When all hell break loose, the Lord gonna keep you out the way. When the MOTB get mandated, he gonna keep you out the way. He gonna make your situation and your scenario, he gonna make it to where you don't even have to even deal with that shit. For real. Just completely out the fucking way. Safe, free, hidden, and alive. Real talk. Real talk. That's that Tawa. Gonna keep you safe, free, hidden, and alive. Them 4 words you gonna be if you make Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai a priority now. And don't be faking and bullshitting. Be sincere, passionate. Because when all hell break loose, you're going to be living in your head. We already living in our head now like we doing life. You know what I'm saying? But that's the difference. And with that, I want to give all infinite honors, praises, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. We on the next one. Avaratazai. Shalom.